Hey everyone, for the evening reflection today, I wanted to reflect on what an amazing time it is to be alive because of this exhibition that we have where Canada's going to the moon. And think also what an amazing time it must have been for the Jewish people who were alive and witnessed the resurrection of Jesus. And for Mary, after going through her grief, going through being at the tomb and wondering where is Jesus, and seeing the angels. I don't know how they recognized angels in those days, but angel means messenger of God in the Bible interpretation. So I did some reading and some research, and some of the insights I found is that the angels were sitting at the head and at the foot of where Jesus was buried. So that is kind of symbolic of how the Ark of the Covenant was, because the cherubim are at the head and at the foot of the Ark of the Covenant, and Jesus is that Ark of the Covenant now. And then also when Jesus appears to Mary, and he calls her by name, and she calls him Rabboni. It's a more intimate, personal form of rabbi. So rabbi would be like when we address our priests by their formal titles, and there's more informal ways to address them. So pastor as opposed to father. There's a more warm kind of feeling to that. And it's just that joy of the Easter season, the Easter, to know that in the church today and on the Universalis site, they had the shorter reading. But in one of my books that I have, one of my missals, there's the longer reading, which actually goes into Mary at the tomb of Jesus, and then how she's commissioned. She's commissioned to go and give the good news to Jesus's disciples, his brothers, that he is alive and that he is risen. So she's the first disciple to get that good news, and then she goes and she takes it to Jesus's brothers to tell them he's risen. And we're moving from that grieving and that deep grief to know that Jesus is with us and Jesus is the light of the world. So those were my thoughts on it. Those were my reflections on it. The Mass was very, very full today, the 11:30. When I got there, I was surprised. I thought it was over. I went in and it wasn't quite over yet, but it was so full. There were people sitting all the way to the back, and there were people standing at the back, and there were people standing in the foyer. That's how full it was. So I'm glad I went to the later service as opposed to the earlier one. But it's nice to see people like that. I guess people come out for Christmas and Easter, and then if they feel the calling, then they start coming for the other masses. But yeah, it was nice. The 1 p.m. Mass wasn't as full as the others. We did have a baptism, so that was nice as well to be there for that. And all of us who were there renewed our baptismal promises to the Lord, where we reject Satan and we reject all his pomp and all his evil ways, and we renew those baptismal vows as adults. So it was good for me to go and to be there, and I've adjusted to my health and how it is now. With one of my tablets, I'll have to keep taking that for the hypertension. But I guess I'm coming up to my annual, so we'll see whether the changes I made to my diet and all of that have had a good impact. Hopefully they have. I don't know how these tests work, because the one time I took the test and it was all over the place. It was saying my potassium was too high. It was showing a problem with my kidney. It was showing all kinds of weird things. And then I took it the next day and everything was fine. So I don't know how these people are doing the test now, because before they used to take the measurement, and that measurement is supposed to reflect your body changes over 6 months. It's not supposed to be like that. So anyway, we'll see. Hopefully it will be fine, and hopefully all the changes I've made will work. I never drank alcohol to begin with, so I don't know how my kidneys can be affected like that. And I mean, salt, I hardly use any salt in my food. I just use a little bit. But anyway, I guess it's one of those things. And by God's grace, I'm still here. I've celebrated another Easter. I've had another opportunity to go to Mass, to receive the Eucharist. And like I said this morning, I'm very aware that in other parts of the world, people don't have access to the Eucharist. They don't have access to the Mass. Even like I can watch it online, I can participate from home. There's places in the world where people can't do that. It's just not available. Just like how our government here don't allow you to post the news. People find a way to do it. Some of the news channels now, they're not posting it as news, they're posting it as entertainment. And that's how they're setting up their Facebook pages, and that's how they're bypassing the government regulations so that they can get the news out. And people will always find a way, but for the last, I think since before COVID hit up to now, the last few years, the priests have been telling us, especially priests like Father Chris Ayla, some of the priests in America, they've been telling us, make sure you have copies of your Bible at home. Make sure you have the catechism. Make sure that you have printed copy of the teachings of the church, because the internet and things like that we have access to, they might start cracking down on it. And in a lot of places they are. So I'm thankful that I can still access the Mass. I can still access the Eucharist. It was very hard for me over COVID when I couldn't go to the church and the churches were locked and I couldn't receive the Eucharist. It was very hard, but thankfully we had Pope Francis and he started streaming the Mass. He started streaming it from the Vatican, and that way everybody could participate, and then bringing back some of those very ancient traditions like the act of spiritual communion, making your act of confession at home or your act of contrition, some of those very ancient practices. When the church was under extreme threat, they had to bring them back. And some of those I had been doing at home, and I had mentioned them to Father Larry and to some of the priests, and Vespers as well. We used to have online Vespers. So we found ways to have community. And that's what the early church had to do. They had to find ways to have community after Jesus was no longer with them, and to adjust to that new reality. So despite everything we went through in COVID, I made the most of it. I actually enjoyed our Vespers. I missed it because Deacon Bill doesn't do it anymore. It was nice on a Sunday evening to come together and to have that time of prayer as a group and to reflect together on the scriptures. But he hasn't brought it back because they have a lot of other things going on now. So that's what I want to share on the scriptures. And I'm hoping, I do pray every day for my health. I pray that the Lord keep me strong and healthy, and that my kidney will not deteriorate further. And I also did a lot of research. I got a lot of guides from Amazon that I bought about how to eat foods that are less starchy. I did a lot of reading on it. I got links from my doctor, and it's a lot of work to basically try to change your diet. And sometimes even when you change your diet and you do all those things, sometimes it still doesn't work. So it's by God's grace that for me the medication worked and that I'm actually starting to lose weight. But I don't want to go through the same thing over and over. Every time I get well, it's like, oh, you need to address your mental health issues. So when I'm well and the doctors are saying I'm well and I'm healthy and there's nothing wrong with me, then everybody else seems to think that I have mental health issues. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. That's why I've had it. Like, if you think I've got mental health issues because I'm out of a job and because I'm not getting work and I'm asking for financial help, there's something wrong with you. Because there is no doctor in this world that is going to say I have mental health issues for asking for help or for getting hypertension. There's no one. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it makes me really angry when people send me messages like that. Because I don't tell them how to live their life. I don't tell them to go to church or not go to church. I don't criticize them for their Facebook posts. So it's like, you know what? Just leave me alone. If that's your attitude and that's how you want to be, like, get a dog or get a child, adopt a child and raise that child. Then you can tell the child, cut your hair, change how you dress, do this, do that. Because the people that I work with, they like me for who I am. And the people that are coming at me all the time, they obviously don't like me. So they need to get a grip and move on with their lives. Because I've also got a calling on my life, and I'm tired of having to take money from people and then take dictatorship from them on how to dress, how to walk, how to talk, how to cut my hair. I had beautiful long hair. I cut it because it was thinning, but also because every time I talk to people, it's like, cut your hair, cut your hair. Oh my God, there are people in this world who love me with long hair. Like, deal with your own health, deal with your own haircuts, deal with your own how you dressing, and just leave me alone. Because I'm perfectly fine as I am, and I'm tired of it. I want this to be a happy Easter season for me. Everything has been going well for me, but the minute I ask for help, and sometimes I don't even ask for help, I get messages saying, I'm sorry, we are not a family anymore, or I'm sorry, but we are not going to help you anymore with your financial needs. And it's like, I don't even know where these people are coming from. It's like, you know what? I don't know who you think you are, but you better just move on with your life. Because I've got a lot of things going for me. I've got a lot of good in my life. And with the way my health has gone, God might be calling me home tomorrow, for all I know. It's like, it's Easter. Just let me enjoy the Easter season.